Grade 12 learners, welcome to LNHS TV. Join me to explore the amazing world. Today is a meaningful opportunity for you to enjoy, so relax and have fun. Set up your mind and open your heart. Just focus and keep away from disturbances, for you are about to experience a wonderful learning journey. I'm Teacher Lance, your partner in achieving quality education. Today, we shall have fun-filled learning experiences on different disasters. To our grade 12 learners, this is your first learning episode. Brace yourselves, for you are about to enter the world of disasters. Before we move on in our discussion, I want you to have with you your paper and pen, because you are going to guess the word by filling in the right letters to unlock what the word really is. The first and last letters are cited and you are only given 10 seconds for each word. After the time, we are going to reveal what word is. There are 4 words for you to guess. Are you ready? Very good. Let us start the activity. For our first word, the first letter is C and the last letter is Y. What is the word? The first word is calamity. Did you get it? Very good. For our second word, the first letter is T and the last letter is N. So what is the word? The second word is typhoon. Did you answer it correctly? Nice! For our third word, the first letter is H and the last letter is D. What is the third word? Amazing! The third word is hazard. And for our last word, the first letter is D and the last letter is R. So what is the word? You got it right! The answer is disaster. In our activity, the unlocked words were calamity, typhoon, hazard, and disaster. If we are going to use these words to reveal what we are going to discuss, what do you think is our lesson today? Very good! Our lesson today is all about disaster and disaster risk.
At the end of this episode, you will hold an understanding about disaster and develop a firm grasp of a very crucial factor that has direct bearing on disaster and disaster risk.
Are you ready for our first episode? Great! Let's get started!
The Philippines has experienced from an inexhaustible number of deadly earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and other natural disasters. This is due to its location along the Ring of Fire, a large Pacific Ocean region where many volcanic eruptions and earthquakes occur.
Now, let's define disaster. It is a sudden calamitous occurrence that causes great harm, injury, destruction, and devastation to life and property. A preceding definition of disaster stresses that two elements are affected: the life and the property. The effects vary. It may be a minor like broken windows and doors, major damage like torn rooftops, collapsed walls, the total destruction like completely destroyed houses, and the worst scenario, it can lead to death. Let's discuss the classification of disasters. Disasters can be divided into two large categories: the natural disaster and man-made disaster.
A natural phenomenon is caused by natural forces such as earthquakes, typhoon, volcanic eruptions, fires, tornadoes, and extreme temperature. They can be classified as rapid onset disasters and those with progressive onset, such as drought that lead to famine. These events, usually sudden, can have tremendous effect. This classification of disasters caused by man is in those in which major direct causes are identifiable, intentional or non-intentional human action. It is also subdivided into three categories. First, technological industrial disaster. Unregulated industrialization and inadequate safety standards increase the risk for industrial disaster. Example, leak of hazardous materials, accidental explosions, bridge or road collapses, power cuts. Second, terrorism violence. The threat of terrorism has also increased due to the spread of technologies involving nuclear, biological, and chemical agents used to develop weapons of mass destruction. Example, bombs or explosions, release of chemical materials, release of radioactive agents, multiple or massive shooting, and mutinies. And last, complex humanitarian emergencies. The term complex emergency is usually used to describe the humanitarian emergency resulting from an international or civil war. In such situation, large number of people are displaced from their homes due to the lack of personal safety and the disruption of basic infrastructure including food distribution, water, electricity, and sanitation, or communities are left stranded and isolated in their own homes, unable to access assistance. Example, conflicts or wars and genocide, the deliberate killing of a large group of people.
The damage caused by disaster cannot be measured. It also differs with the kind of geographical location, climate, Earth-specific characteristic, and level of vulnerability. These determining factors affect generally the psychological, socio-economic, political, and ethnical state of the affected area. Let's discuss also about risk and disaster risk. Risk has various connotations within different disciplines. In general, risk is defined as the combination of the probability of one event and its negative consequences. The term risk is thus multidisciplinary and is used in variety of contexts. It is usually associated with a degree to which human cannot cope with a situation.
The term disaster risk refers to the potential disaster losses in lives, health status, livelihood, assets, and services which could occur in a community or society over some specified future time period. Disaster risk is the product of the possible damage caused by a hazard due to the vulnerability within a community. It should be noted that the effect of a hazard would affect communities differently. It can also be determined by the presence of three variables: the hazard, the vulnerability to a hazard, and coping capacity linked to the reduction, mitigation, and resilience to the vulnerability of a community.
Do you have any question? If not, let us have an activity. In our activity, you need with you your pen and paper. You are going to arrange the given jumbled letters to identify the correct terminology. The definition will help you to derive the correct answer. Answering this activity will develop your visual and analysis skills. Are you ready? Let's begin.
A sudden calamitous event bringing great damage, loss, destruction, and devastation. A path along the Pacific Ocean characterized by active volcanoes and frequent earthquakes. An event causing great and often sudden damage or distress. Shaking of earth caused by waves moving on and below the earth's surface. And finally, when lava and gas are discharged from a volcanic vent.
Did you answer all the questions? Great! Let us now reveal the answers. I'm sure you all got the perfect score in the activity. It only implies that you fully understand our discussion today. I hope that we will be again together for another amazing learning journey. At this juncture, let us have a short recap of what transpired today.
Earlier, we mentioned about the definition of disaster with the two classifications, the natural disaster and the man-made disaster. Also in this episode, you learn about the example of the three categories of man-made disaster, the technological, terrorism, and the complex humanitarian. You learned also the meaning of risk and disaster risk.
To enhance your skills for this lesson, you can answer the different activities on your learning activity sheet on disaster readiness and risk reduction. That ends our learning episode for today. I hope that you enjoy and understand our lesson. This has been your TVBI teacher, Lance Sabat from Lalo National High School. Goodbye!